ओम महादेवी च विद्महे विष्णुपत्नी च धीमहि तन्नो लक्ष्मी प्रचोदयात्।
This could be good for me. Lately I was feeling like I need a purpose. But when you talk to me, give me the impression that
Now, we had discussed about the one world, one government extensively, and I had told about the roadmap of the future where the humanity will evolve step by step. There was a prophecy about me. They said I will become good in 6 arts and I will become a Trikalanyani. I never believed in that. I never believed in that prophecy. And actually, there is a Shiva temple by the name Trikalanyaneshwar in the Kanchipuram, bus stand. I was so shocked that I went and worshipped the great Trikalanyaneshwar. So the point is, now you need to be a man of destiny to understand it. There are 2 things I don't have. I am not wearing a garuva and professing myself as a great guru. Neither I am writing things in quatrain where people will not understand. I have made it in a very explicit sense, and there is a profound logic which has been there for the predictions. It has been done as a step-by-step process where any person who has an average intelligence can see what the predictions are there. It is done so simple that many people will say, oh, it is just logical. But remember, time as a barrier, and this time barrier cannot be broken by all human beings. Most of the human beings find it very difficult to have foresight. To have looked so far into the world for a number of years or a number of centuries is very, very difficult. Now, you have a lot of people who are like coming across and who try to talk about prophecies and all that thing. You please understand that this is of a different level and a caliber. It is not done without an understanding, and of course this got downloaded for me in the year 2004. I wrote a small article based on that in my satyaprema.com, and it got published across. But the point is, it has evolved over a period of time. The vision has remained the same. I had a big doubt about the number of wars which will be there, and I always felt, and I was a very idealistic guy who felt the war will reduce and everything will understand. When I saw the vision of many world wars were being fought, and each war preceded by a period of prosperity and growth, I was so shocked that this was only an idealistic utopia about peace. Many people feel that the world will live in peace, there will be no war. Wrong. Also, new types of religion which will be happening, which will be a combination of the old religion. Like people will be new Buddhist, there'll be Tantra Tao will be there. They'll be taking the techniques of Tantra and practicing along with Taoism. Many people will be practicing Vajrayana Tantra along with Zen Buddhism. Like that, there will be ancient traditions which will be mixed across in the future. So this you have to understand. We will have new types of gurus which will be happening across. It will not be the old type of gurus which will be appearing. There will be more evolved soul, there will be more educated, there will be more contemporary, and new techniques in the world of spirituality will open up. And lot of these ancient secret techniques which are not available in the world will be available for many people across. So earlier spirituality means all these things were kept in a wrap and nobody was willing to share it across, and it was kept as a secret. For example, Ayurveda and Siddha medicine was not well known outside India, and it was post-independence. There was a lot of these medicines are all coming out across a person. So you need to understand all these esoteric knowledge will open up, and it will start coming into the mainstream society where meditation will be a common word. So you need to come to the understanding that all these things will be there. There will be monasteries which will be modern, and there will be many people who will be practicing both Tantra, Advaita and the Sattvic form will be there. Even there will be mergence of religions will be there. You can have Christian fathers who will be practicing Tantra. You will have Tantrics who will be practicing the loving kindness of the Buddhist tradition. So please understand, we are evolving into the area where the principles of religions are more important than the form. The humanity will mature and killing in the name of God will reduce. But the wars will continue both ideologically and for a variety of reasons because of the karma part of it. The other important thing is, I am not like Nostradamus talking quatrains or any mystical mumbo jumbo. The vision is so clear. But of course, many people will say, you did not give dates, you did not give the thing. It is not needed across, because it is very, very simple. For every transition, there will be a great man in the humanity will be born. Humanity evolves by inches, not by foot, not by leaps and bounds, not by jumps. And for example, Gandhiji was needed for the liberation of the British. The Mandela was needed to enhance the South Africa across. Like that, there will be a lot of leaders who will be born across at the different points of time to evolve the humanity. And all these people will play a very contributory role. It will be the law of opposites which will be born. For example, we have communism which is there. In the next 50 years, there will be a lot of souls which will be born, which will be against communism, and there will be a leader who will come and decimate communism. For example, there was ascetics who was giving the human sacrifices. Beyond the point of the human sacrifices, courtiers came and he finished them. Now, the courtiers also was finished by one of the greatest thing, by the greatest Spanish general, by the greatest Colombian general who won against the Spanish people. So just like that, the humanity, there will be opposites which will be coming across. So I have not had the gift and the vision to talk about that, but nobody, including Nostradamus, had given a time. There will be always only approximation which will be given, because the time there are beings of light will not allow you to access this point and allow you to tell it out publicly, because that can be very detrimental about what the things will future. Ultimately, there will be Mahapralaya, where the entire world will dissolve, the solar systems will dissolve, the entire thing will go into a very deep blank. And then again there will be a rising which will be happening across. So please understand that it is a process of birth and rebirth, happens for planet, solar system, people and all that. Just like there are many new prophets which can be born, and many people who have had extraordinary gifts in the spiritual life who have been forgotten will be remembered across. I pray God that may you understand this knowledge and may you see this knowledge, and whenever you have had problems in your life, may you use this knowledge to come out of all these trouble. So don't get frightened. Don't think the world is going to end because of the environment disaster. We will have more and more proactively protecting the animals and the environment, and we will have a new era where you can probably live along with the nature and yet you can do your own work. I pray God that may you understand this one world, one government, and may you help many people across. Of course, this will be a valuable gift to other people. Please share and do subscribe my channel across. I shall be thankful to you across. Thank you so much. This is a book on Swara Yoga. Now, there are variety of books in Swara Yoga which is there. Siva Sarvodaya by Chaukambika Press. A variety of people have published. But nobody has had the timing as far as the Swara Yoga is concerned. You do not have the exact timing is there in the Swara Yoga. This book talks about the timing part of the Swara Yoga. There was a man who was a worshipper of Vallalar who came to me from Tiruvannamalai and he said, "Sir, I wanted to learn this particular thing." I asked him, "You yourself must be knowing about the Swara, so that is how you had come to ask about it. So why didn't you know the timing?" He said, "No sir, there is no book which is given about the Swara part of it. So this is the first book which gives you across." I have read the book which is written by the Satyananda Saraswati people, Bihar School of Yoga. They have written on Swara Yoga, but it does not have the timing. Their own students have come to me and asked about the timing part of the Swara Yoga. So this is the crown in the jewel. Now many people practice pranayama without understanding the mental, the emotional, the spiritual benefits of pranayama. Now pranayama, they talk about the physical aspects of the pranayama. They say your heart rate will improve, your breathing will improve, your lung capacity will improve. All these things they talk about it. This Swara Yoga is the diadem, is the crown in the jewel. It is Om Mani Padme Hum, in the sense it talks about the application in day-to-day life, like death. You can know whether you're going to die or not. Now this happened few years ago. I went to a particular Swamiji and I was talking to the Swamiji. The Swamiji told, "Who knows the timing of the death?" I told, "No, you can check the Swara and know the timing of the death." And the whole hush fell into the entire group because they were so shocked about the timing was there for the death. Remember, if the breathing comes only with a single nostril, if that does not change for 15 days, you know the arrival of death. Even if you have not read the book, use this technique. You know the arrival of the death. You can prepare yourself for the death of Christ. So the many people don't know it has an application in the male or a female. It has in the Karya Siddhi. It has on the travel. We have given to you exhaustively on that. We have also put a class in this where you can buy. The videos are well elaborated and spoken to you as a person. So please understand, this is the first time such a book is written. There are no Sanskrit slokas you need to mug up. There are no need to mug up anything. It is a pure application, practical oriented book which has a tremendous esoteric significance. There are many gurus in India who claims to be enlightened, who claims to have seen God. With the Swara Yoga, you can really check whether somebody is enlightenment or not. There are many people who leave gas. They simply say, "I'm enlightened, I'm this, I'm that, I'm the avatar," because they have the beard. Now you can easily understand using the Swara Yoga whether they are enlightened, whether they are fibbing across as a person. That can be done. Swara Yoga has an application on money, as on Vashya, on Vidveshana, on the different aspects, and it is a very, very tantric principle which can be learned. Now, many people talk about Tantra, and many people have written about fantasy books on Tantra, like that of Robert Subudhav. It's like the Harry Potter movie, he has written it across. Whereas this has a direct application, and anybody and everybody who can know English can really read this book across. This is a book which is edited by my student Shravanti, and for the sake of humanity, for the sake of everyone, we have published this book. Though this technique has been kept secret and not many people are aware of this technique for the first time is available and open to the technique. This book the original book was written by the great Matsyendranath of the Nath Parampara, and he had heard the Shiva and the Shakti speaking together, and Shiva elucidating about the tantric principle of the Swara. Now, this is a Shiva Agama. If you do not know who is the Nath Parampara, go to Kumbh Mela. In the Kumbh Mela, people of the sadhus, they will be going to have a bath, and those people are called as the Nath Parampara people. And it is not because you wear a kanda and you go and try to talk about it. This is the Akhadas, the entire Akhadas principle, the entire tantric tradition owes it to the great Matsyendranath. And after the return of the book of the Kaula Nirnaya Tantra, which talks about the yogini sadhana, this book is the greatest book written by the great Matsyendranath. It is called as the Shiva Sarvodaya. Not many yoga teachers are aware of it. Not many people who practice spirituality are aware of it. This is the diamond in the lotus. It is a golden book which has to be a must principles into your life is across. So please do not get carried away by people who talk about knowledge with big beard. This book can really change your life. You apply it every day and it can make a big difference. Right now, my student Shavanti had come across and she had a small difference of opinion. I said the swara must not be right. Check your swara. The swara was flowing in the wrong direction. I told because of that you are going to have a conflict. Such is the principle. People talk about tactics. People talk about thinking. People talk about communication. People talk about belief. People talk about faith. Nothing is needed. You have swara, everything is correct. That is why my Siddhartha teacher told me, one who knows the swara can even know Lord Shiva himself. That is how you used to go on repeating this thing across. So please understand, this is a book which will be required if you are a spiritual practitioner, if you are a meditator, if you are a yoga teacher, if you are a person who has followed many gurus, then this is the book. Take the swara as the guru and follow it. It will lead you to glory. It has been written in the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra as one of the technique. They talk about the first 7 techniques which talks about the swara as the principle across. It is also taught in the Vipassana camp. A portion of this is taught in the Vipassana camp, and they talk about watching the gaps between the breath across. So I request you to understand this principle of Swara Yoga, which is it's like you search everywhere and suddenly you realize the knowledge is available and easy. Earlier it was written in the Guru Sishya Parampara. This book has been written by me or channeled by me so that you can use it across. Many people think channeling means mumbo jumbo. No, this has nothing to do with the mumbo jumbo part of it. You can use this book so easily, so practical, and it is not like it is not like some kind of a theoretical stuff. So this you can check whether your Kundalini is awakened, whether you are going into Pratahara, whether you are going into Samadhi state. That is the level of this book. It is one of its kind, and I had not taken time to promote this book across because I did not have the time for my personal sadhana and practice. So for the first time we are promoting this book across, and it is one of the top selling classes in the courses what we have put across. There is a course available, there is a video course available, there is a book which is available. You can buy the book and you can go through it, and if you are very interested you can also buy the course across. You have any doubts with regard to the Swara Yoga, please do write to me out. would be glad to do that. I do not believe in disciples because I believe God is the only Adi Guru and everybody has to follow him across. And na sishya na guru chittani yogam shivoham shivam. So it is God who comes in a different form across. I pray and I bless all of you to have the mastery of the Sora Yoga so that the whole spiritual dimensions will change in this world across. There are many yoga. Now today I'm going to talk the concept of softwares. Now there was a time the softwares were all not there. Now you imagine 30 years ago, 20 years ago, there was no astrological software. So to learn astrology, you need to use ephemeris. To learn astrology, you need to know the astronomical calendars, you need to know the solilunar calendar, all that thing was required across. But the year 1995 was a kind of a year marked. That was a kind of a very, very different year as far as the astrological softwares are concerned. The astrological softwares were able to innovate a lot and it started getting a printout. Earlier, people used to write the horoscope in a notebook and that notebook used to be carried along for different astrological reading and purpose into their life. There is one more technique I would do to tell you about it. Whenever you are having a bad time, throw away your old horoscope and write a fresh horoscope. It's like a restart of your life and try to write it in a good time. The second thing is, don't keep your horoscope in a very crumpled fashion. It shows your destiny, your life is all very, very crumpled across as a person. So this is a too important technique. Whenever you are having a difficult time, rewrite your entire horoscope by your own hand or take the help of somebody and ask them to write the horoscope in the hand. It will make a huge difference. The other one is throw away the old horoscope, take a fresh horoscope. It's a way to have a new beginning in your life. Now let me come to the softwares part of it. One of the most famous software here in South India is the Astrovision. Now Astrovision had developed the horoscope very well. I know them for a long period of time and they have been promoting the astrology part of the horoscope part of it, where in terms of software, you load the software, you take a printout, literally lot of parameters are given, lot of predictions are given so that you would be able to impress the clients across, and they are in a multi-language. But there are some limitation towards it. You cannot understand all the 48 dashas of Parasura, and it is not very flexible across. There is another horoscope maker who is very famous in Delhi. It's called as the Parashura Hora. Now this is also a very good horoscope. There are a lot of interfaces are available across and people can use it, and you can actually take a printout in a color, and also you would be able to transfer the data. You can type and you can send it across. Now this is the second software which is supposed to be very good. There is another software which is freely downloadable. It's called as the Jagannath Hora. Jagannath Hora actually was a game changer. Narasimha Rao was kind enough to give the horoscope free for everybody across. You can simply download. There were absolutely all the 48 dashas of Parasura was put. There were different techniques. The chakras were put across. There was a lot of techniques which were not available in the common public and in the platforms of astrology that is available everywhere. The problem with that software is it is not available in the cell phone format. Now you want to see in the cell phone format, it is not available across. But it's a good software. It doesn't have a prediction, but it has a lot of data, compilation of data, where you can see all the Vargas in one page, Ashtavarga in one page, and it's like a very comprehensive software. It is available for free. The other important software which is available is the Junior Jyotish software. Now, Junior Jyotish was putting only Rashi and the Navamsa part of the software. They have evolved a lot. They have gone ahead, and it is also partially free and it is partially paid. But even the free version is, I considered, very good. I request people to pay because it is very minor. It is around 250 rupees across. It's not going to make a big difference, and I think we should buy softwares which helps people to make money across. The other one is the Panchang software, which is available across. Now it gives you Panchang detail. It also gives the Kundalini detail. Drik Panchang is the software which is available across. Now this gives you Rasi, Navamsa and Dasha Bhukti in the Pratyantara Dasha level, which I think is sufficient if you're going to do the basic levels of astrology. Now, if you want the advanced level of astrology, you want the Rashi Dasha, you want the Kala Chakra Dasha, those are like, it's like a 5-star hotel. You want a menu at a very high level, and that is Jagannath Aura. The Jagannath Aura is operable in the desktop. It is not available in the cell phone version, but all these softwares I told you, Astrovision is available, and there are other softwares which are also available that is for sale. Some people have put the Muhurta software, some people have put the Prashna software. All these softwares are very good across as a person. So if you want to buy these softwares, it is available at the description box. Go down, and wherever it's freely downloadable, you can still click the link and go and download it. There are numerology softwares which are available free. There are Vastu softwares which are available free, and it is all well advanced. It's like, the previous version is not as good as the current version. So therefore, astrology in the calculation, many people ask, do we write in the hand? Do you use Panchang? All that data is over. All that data is absolutely over. There is no need to calculate. You can send the entire horoscope in the WhatsApp. You can send the reading in the WhatsApp. All these things have changed a lot. The history of astrology, especially after 2000, especially in the computation part of it, has changed. If you want to do the Ashtavarga for Dashamsa, it is available. You want to see the transit from different angle, from Saturn, from Jupiter, you can see that across. So all these facilities are given. The techniques of astrology with the help of softwares, the accuracy is improved, and also it has exploded in the last 20 years across as a person. Therefore, you want to learn astrology, you can learn astrology without calculation. Do not get carried away by people who teach you calculation. Remember, it is all over. Now, many people teach for 2 years calculation and then they try to talk about 6 months of prediction. It is not needed. All the calculation is all over, and you do not require any calculation. You can take a printout, you can send in the e-format, you can send in the PDF format, you can send in all kinds of formats. You do not require any of these things across as a person. It's all changed. The worldview has changed. So please learn to use the software if you're going to make up the prediction. There are a lot of schools in astrology which I would be talking about, and there are a lot of areas of astrology which can be covered, which is not done by the common people across. So there are other things about astrology which we would be talking across, which will be very, very useful and helpful to you. Thank you. Namaste. Today I'm going to talk about the most important thing is about the environmental issue. Now many people think about the environmental issue and they talk about that the environment has to be saved, environment has to be done this and done that. The basic problem with the environment is consumption. So there are two things if you follow in your life, it is easy to avoid environmental disaster. Very, very easy. It can be followed by everybody across. First is vegetarian food. That is what the great Vallalar says. Jiva Karunyam means not killing another life for the sake of the food. So the first and the most important thing is vegetarianism. If people stop eating fish, actually the oceans can be saved completely. The entire industry would undergo a massive change because the consumption of fish is so much that it is destroying the ocean. It is destroying the ecological balance in a person's life. So the first and the most important thing is eating vegetarian food. The amount of pig, amount of goat, amount of cattle which is being killed to titillate the palate, including the chicken, is so huge, and the carbon food imprint of that is so huge. So therefore, the first and the most important thing, if you want a better life for the planet, start consuming vegetarian food. It has a huge impact on the environment, and many people are not aware of the environment damage caused by these non-vegetarian food. The amount of carbon dioxide which is released by these so-called process of bringing up the chicken, goat, fish, all the thing is so much that it is giving a huge disaster to the planet across. The second one is the practice of simplicity. The point is, Patanjali talks about aparigraha. Aparigraha means not wanting things which are not useful to you. There is a big movement in America or across the world which is coming across, where they call it as minimalism. Now that is taking life to a very far extent. Minimalism means using objects, using things which are very, very minimal in nature across. Now that is a very good theory, but many people, many families might find it very difficult to practice. So the second thing is, stop consuming more and more. Throw away all the objects, or do not buy objects which are not in use to you as a person. Now many people promote the idea of buying more and more objects. You have to come to the point of understanding happiness comes when you want to make other people happy, when you want to make other people better in your life across. So the first and the foremost thing which is very, very important is aparigraha, practice of simplicity, practice of minimalism. Now if your heart is very big, as you are traveling you can pick up many people in your car. If your heart is very big, you can actually give food to many people. If your heart is very big, you can give clothes to many people. So the point is, if you start giving, actually you get more opportunity, more links, more growth as a person also. So the second most important thing is the practice of simplicity, which is very, very important. The third important thing, all these business has to undergo a massive change. Instead of trying to work for a single dimension, a profit of their stockholders, they can try to work for 10% for the employee, 50% for the stockholder, 10% for the management. Like that, if you try to spread it out, many people will get benefited out of it. But the problem is, the end results is profit. So for the sake of profit, they try to give bali of many people's life. So you have to come to the understanding and asking yourself a very, very basic question. Are we going to think about only corporate profit, or the profit for the entire lot of people who take care of it? I know one person who did it in America. He simply raised the salary. He shares his entire business profit with his employee. Actually, he doesn't have any attrition rate and they are very, very successful. I saw a Japanese businessman who told, I take less from the customer and more from more I give it to the employee, and actually he is making a lot of profit across. In fact, the attrition is so low. So therefore, the first and the most important thing which many people have in their life is about making profit. That is what Francis of Assisi says very beautifully. It is in giving that we receive. If we have this as the third attitude of trying to give to the environment more, people more, actually our heart will become peaceful. We will become more and more successful in our life. So it is very important that you develop these three practices: non-vegetarianism, minimalism, and that is eating vegetarian food, avoiding unnecessary purchases, and minimalism. And the third most important thing after this is that of trying to give more and receive less across. Now, if you do that, you will become more spiritual. You will have more, what you call it as, working for the globe. Many people want to have a great destiny. Destiny is nothing but working for a number of people higher and higher. That is the meaning of destiny. I hope this is a new approach towards the environmental challenge, which can be personal and can be used by anyone else across. In the name of ignorance, in the name of that and this, many people spoil the environment. This is a very noble approach which will help you to have a better time, not only for the planet but also for you as a person. Take care, and I pray God, may your spiritual life deepen. May your spiritual antakarna become very big, and may you be helping more and more people. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much for the video. Do share it with other people. Thank you. This is a book on mundane astrology. Now, this book has been edited by my student Jayashree. Now she told me there were so many mundane astrology predictions which were coming right. We used to predict so much on tennis, cricket, World Cup. We just went on doing that. And one day she said, "Sir, I think it's high time that we put a book and we teach you the techniques for people to make it into a book." It was the first book which was published by me. Of course, Sagar Publication had published this book across. Therefore, this is one of the book of its kind. There are no mundane astrology book which is there in the market. There has been some book by Shil Pandey and all those people which is not comprehensive, holistic, useful, which can be applied. This book is comprehensive, holistic, and you can apply this book anywhere. First chapter, few chapters talks about celebrity horoscope. How to read for the celebrities is being written there across. In this book, we talk about the celebrity horoscopes, and one of the horoscope which we had written was Mata Amritanandamayi. We are told that she would become world famous, she would be doing very well across. All those things are written. And one of the most important predictions in Tamil Nadu politics was, when will Kalaignar die? I had actually made a prediction 14 years ago or 16 years ago that he will die without power and he will die across. It turned out to be bingo that he died without power. And I also had written long time ago that Rajinikanth was not going to coming into politics. It was a prophecy which came true across. So please understand, these are practical techniques which has come true. I was actually given money by Sifi.com to write these to write the prediction on mundane astrology on the world events, and this was the book which was the sum of all the articles I had written across. In fact, I had predicted about the Iraq war in September of 2011, and it was copycatted by some of the biggest astrology names. I don't want to mention the names, but I want wanted to tell the prediction about the Narendra Modi's government, actually they refused in Sifi. They told first let your Iraq prediction come true, then we can talk about it. Then actually what happened, the Iraq prediction came true, and in fact in the meeting one of the managers told that none of the astrologer had predicted across. He told no, we had predicted about the Iraq war long back 6 months ago, and it was put on the top of the Sifi news list, and it turned out to be a winner. It turned out to be a real winner, and the orders started flowing in. The Sifi.com went into another league altogether because of that. So please understand, like these kind of techniques which are discussed across, there were so many predictions on the cricket matches which were given across, and in fact people used to get agitated when I used to say the India was not going to win the match. One of the prediction I had given was Dhoni will win the toss and will win the World Cup. Now somebody asked me, they said, how did you predict? We all know that the guy might win the World Cup, it was a chance, but how did you write so exactly that the toss will be won and the India will win the match? Now do you want to learn all these techniques? Do you want to know how to predict about the matches? Do you want to know about how to predict the football events? Do you want to use the Prashna Lagna? It is right in there. That book is all the techniques are available. It is like a jewel which has many diamonds, and all that is given. And also you have a lot of charts of different countries when they were born. You do not have a comprehensive area where suppose you want to know the birth of Kenya, you want to know the birth of various people, you don't know. And whereas it has almost close to 120 or odd countries, horoscope is there. Sri Lanka is Simha Lagna. With that I had predicted the death of LTT Prabhakaran and the end of the ELM4 war. Now all those horoscopes are available. It is a guidebook. It is like an Encyclopedia Britannica for people who want to use astrology across a person. Now the techniques are well elaborated for you, and also it talks about the stock market prediction. Now many astrologers will talk about the stock market prediction. In fact, A.V. Sundaram had told me once, among your most brilliant prediction that is about the stock market techniques still remains the thing. You are the only astrologer to predict the bull run between the 2001 to 4 across as a person. So if you want to know why that prediction has been given, it has been used. Now many people are very confused about the using the horoscope, whether they should use the India's independent horoscope, whether they should use the India's Republican horoscope. There are many horoscopes which are there on that thing. Now remember, India's independence horoscope is used by me for many predictions across. It turned out to be right. Now also in the COVID, India is having all the planets from the moon, the 8th house Jupiter is transiting, so India is reeling under the wave of the COVID too, and there are a lot of deaths which has happened across. You can predict exactly by using it across. Now Narendra Modi was about to be standing for the Prime Minister. Somebody called me and they asked me who is going to win the election. I had told it was Narendra Modi which was won across, and in WhatsApp it was shared many times across, and it became one of the what you call the viral prediction of an astrologer. Mine could be the only prediction which has become viral, and I told Narendra Modi will come back to power the second time. I had also had predicted that DMK would come back to power in the 2021 election. Like that, there are many success of the prediction across is there as a person. Many people were abusive of me in the net because they were very angry. There are many Delhi astrologers who are very angry with me because I had had a huge run in the astrology. There was one guy particularly named Manjunath Sharma who went on talking abusively about me in the Yahoo group, and it was K.N. Rao who had defended it across, and it turned out to be that many of my prediction had come true. true. I had predicted about the Taliban losing losing against the American forces and withdrawal of the American forces. It is there available in the net. You can definitely read it. So this is a book written by a master for the people to become masters. You are an apprentice in mundane astrology. You want to deliver something very big. You have to do that. I have not covered the weather prediction about it. It is well done by Ramachandran. Puyal Ramachandran has done an exhaustive study about the weather patterns, and he had successfully predicted across. I have not included the weather. I have not included the earthquake part of it as a person, because those are all the areas what I have to do research. But you can know the political part of it, the what you call the match part of it, which you can really use for the mundane astrology prediction. This is a book which has to be there with all budding astrologers, and it is so easy and it is very comprehensive. All predictions which has come true has been put. Now many people ask me, now does all your prediction come true? No, I don't say that, because most of my prediction come true. Even Sachin Tendulkar has an average of 50. I have more than average of 80% of my prediction coming true across. So I request you to understand and buy this book. If you are not into basic astrology but you are into advanced astrology and you want to do many things across, then this is the book which will be very helpful to you. We have not put the class for this, but in future we might put the class. And you have to understand, we have also combined with the Nadi principles of these technique, which can make a huge difference into predictions across. So I request you, it is for your own welfare, and you're a budding astrologer, no as advanced astrologer. This is a book. That's why they put a textbook for the astrologers. It's a textbook. You can use it and you can keep on using it till a lifetime across. Thank you. Namaste. Now many astrologers do talk about remedial measure across. Now many people have a huge confusion about the remedial measure. They do not know how the remedial measure works and they have a huge confusion. But today I am going to talk about the angle of the remedial measure. From where does the remedial measure work? That is a very important thing in a person's life across. Though the video is available for a common platform, this could be useful for many astrologers across. Now many people do remedial measure from the Lagna. It does not work. That is why the great Nadi astrology, actually if you take all the Nadi texts, they talk about very clearly about the remedial measure from Karakas. Karakas means that which gets things done. So that is the meaning of the Karakas. So if you want to do the remedial measure, you should mark the Karakas and do it, which will have an important and immediate impact into your person's life. There was a person who was having Mesh. Saturn was having in Mesh. Now Saturn is the Karaka for longevity and for work. Now if you want to improve the what you call the work part of it, you will have to do the remedial measure from the 10th house from the Saturn across. So we had suggested for him to light the lamp for Saturn and also donate the Saturnian things for him as a person. Now it turned out to be that the person's career just started growing up very much across as a person. So the most important thing into your life across is from where does this remedial measure work. Now if you are having a marriage problem, try to do the remedial measure from Venus, the 7th lord. If you are a woman, you are having a marriage issue, try to do the remedial measure from the Mars, the 7th house. So the Karakas are a very, very important thing in terms of remedial measure. Now, this is not taken very seriously by many astrologers. For example, there was a guy who was having Venus in the Mesh. He asked me what kind of remedial measure he has to do. I told him, you please light lamp for Mahalakshmi by putting magnet across, and he did it across, and that was an unprecedented thing. There was a lot of twist and turn happen. He got married to a very, very pretty lady across. So the point is, you have to come to an understanding about where does the remedial measure work. There are 4 levels to remedial measure. You can use the remedial measure even in the divisional chart. You can use the remedial measure in Dasamsa. You can use the remedial measure in Saptamsa. For the children, you can use the remedial measure in Chaturamsa. So the point is, you can use the remedial measure applying the same principle of Karakas. For example, in my case, the Saturn is in Mithuna, the 10th Lord is the Guru, and the Guru is in a particular place, so I can do the remedial measure for Guru, which will help me to have an unprecedented growth as far as my work is concerned. So therefore, you have to understand that the remedial measures can be applied in the various divisional chart also. The second most important thing is, can the remedial measure can be done for Gochara? Now, many people do not know that the remedial measure can be done for Gochara, which will be very, very effective for you as a person. Now, the problem with many people is they have no idea how the Gochara remedial measure is done. The first day, all over India, the Guru transit, the Saturn transit, the Rahu Ketu transit is celebrated across, and people do puja and ritual. This is one of the best way to do the remedial measure for a transit. The other one is, there was a lady who came to me across and she asked me, sir, my Guru is transiting my 6th house. How do I go about it? I said, do the remedial measure only for Guru. You would be able to clear the energy across. So the point is, now whenever Saturn is transiting 6, 8, 12 or Jupiter is transiting 6, 8, 12, do the remedial measure only for Saturn and Guru. You would be able to clear a lot of blocks, and this is a very, very important remedial measure. The other one is, whenever the sun is changing from one Rasi to another, you have to do the remedial measure, and this will also help you. For example, the Masa Sandhi and the Paksha Sandhi can be used as a very important remedial measure point for the Gochara part of it, which will help you to reduce a huge amount of problem across. So therefore, I have told you the application of the remedial measure using the Karakas, not only from the Lagna but from the divisional chart. The second thing also, I have stressed you, the remedial measures can be done